What is good, everybody? Salty here. We're going to get into some more r/malicious compliance. I finally made the appointment. My name is also the name of a very successful TV producer who lives close, and because of that I occasionally receive snail mail for him. Clearly someone wanted his address, but no doubt he was hard to find, and they found my address instead. So I started getting all kinds of invitations to fancy fundraising functions, marketing material for investment companies, and high-end catalogs. It didn't bother me much, just more junk mail among the bills. I deal with it. However, after a couple years of junk mail, I got a phone call from a home security company rep who wanted to set up an appointment to show me how they could super secure my house on Very Expensive Street. I immediately realized that this security company had the right home address for the producer, but instead of his phone number, they had mine. I explained that they had reached the wrong person and that I live in a small rental on Very Poor Street. After trying to hard sell me on the meeting anyway, he apologized and promised not to call again. 3 months later, I got the call again. They'd like to visit me on Very Expensive Street to sell me home security. I again explained that they have the wrong person and they tried to hard sell me and then promised not to call again. But every 3 months or so, I got a call from the company wanting to set up a sales call at my home on Very Expensive Street. This continued and I remained as polite as I could, but it started getting annoying after 4 years. Finally, around the 15th call from this company, I decided to take a different tack. Rather than explaining that they've reached the wrong person again, I went ahead and agreed to the meeting for tomorrow at my home on Very Expensive Street. I explained the only time I'm really available is dinner time, so we made an appointment for 6:30. I didn't know if Mr. Wealthy would be home or not, and I felt bad that I had just sent a hard sales rep to his house unannounced. But I knew if they screwed with Mr. Wealthy, they'd finally get the message. The day after my appointment, I got a call from the supervisor. "We went to the address we have, but something went wrong. Do you live at 123 Very Expensive Street? Didn't we confirm the address with you?" "I don't live at that address. That's Mr. Wealthy. My name is the same, but I'm not actually wealthy." "Didn't we confirm this address with you?" Yes, you did." "But you made the appointment anyway?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because you keep calling." The supervisor's voice had been rising, but now he was just plain mad. "My rep went out there and got yelled at by Mr. Wealthy. Why would you set the appointment for a place you don't live?" "Because you keep calling and trying to make the appointment." "But you don't live at that address!" He's shouting at this point. "I know, and I keep telling you that, but you keep calling," I calmly stated. "What are you talking about? My rep only called you once," he yelled. Now that I knew I had his full attention, I laid it all out for him. "You guys have been calling me regularly for about 4 years, and I keep informing your reps that I don't live at that address. However, you keep calling despite that, so after 4 years I could only assume you wanted the appointment whether I lived there or not." "So you don't live on Very Expensive Street?" "Nope." I heard him breathing on the other end of the phone. "I don't understand why you would make an appointment. Why would you do that?" he yelled in frustration. "I don't understand why you keep calling me. Why would you do that?" "You're an asshole." "Yes, I am. For 4 years I wasn't, but now I am. I suggest you get my number off your list. If you call me again trying to hard sell me an appointment, I will gladly make it and your rep can get yelled at by Mr. Wealthy again. However, I doubt he'll be that nice next time." I heard an anguished groan and then he hung up. Since then, I have not had a single call from that company. That's some malicious compliance right there. That's almost pro-revenge. They've been calling you for 4 years? Like, geez. Yeah, I probably would have done the same the first year. I don't think I would let it go 15 calls. That's just a bit much. Send money to claim my long-lost inheritance? I'm in. Okay, so all of you have probably experienced this classic Nigerian prince inheritance scam. This is where you will usually be asked to send money, usually described as a fee, to be able to claim an even bigger sum of money. One day, I decided to have some revenge when I received one of these calls. The scammer was given his spiel about how a long-lost relative of mine had died, and I was the one to inherit the millions that was left solely to me. Playing along, I acted very excited and asked what needed to be done on my end. He said his legal firm needed a payment of £5,000 in order for the relevant paperwork to be processed. This is where I had a bright idea. I said to him that I did not have £5,000 in cash on hand, but I do, however, have a load of new electronics come in from my business that I could send to be sold. He jumped at the opportunity. So I went into my shed and started wrapping up a broken washing machine I had. I also filled the drum with multiple yellow pages to give it even more weight. When I organized the special courier to come pick up the massive parcel, I said that the delivery fee would be paid in full at the other end. With the delivery fee totaling over £500, I paid a small deposit and off the package went. A few weeks later, I got confirmation that the parcel had been picked up and a full invoice paid on collection. I wish I could have seen the scammer's face when he opened it. That's a good way to get back at those stupid scammers. Just send them a busted-ass washing machine and make them pay the freight. Oh, be sure to fill that bitch up full of phone books first so it weighs more, so the freight's higher. Asshole foreman got a cat flap. Note, a foreman is a man who supervises and directs workers on a site, or at least he should be. So I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for 4 years now and never have any problems with foremen. I usually wouldn't see them for most of the day. The norm would be a chat in the morning to see what I will be doing for the day, and that's it. But I was on a job for a few weeks fitting doors, stairs, skirting board, etc. in a soon-to-be housing estate. And let's just say that this foreman, FM, was different. He was an asshole, a nightmare to work under, and I mean that quite literally. He would just stand there lurking over me as I worked as if he didn't trust me to do my job. He did this to everyone, and if anyone asked him anything, he would be annoyed that they didn't know already, so he would either shout the answer at them or not tell them at all, which obviously led to mistakes due to the fact that they would have to guess stuff like measurements. Oh, and if there were mistakes made, holy shit. Let's say someone cut something wrong and wasted 5 minutes or so. An ordinary foreman would just say something like, "Shit happens, cut it right next time." But FM would scream at the top of his lungs for 20 minutes straight over the fact the guy wasted 5 minutes. How does that make sense? He did this to me a couple times and I was sick of it. So I rocked up one day and asked FM what he wants me to do for the day. I knew what I had to do already. I was hanging doors the day before and still had a few to do. But if there was any changes, then I didn't want to waste time doing something I didn't have to do. He looked at me as if I had two heads and asked if I finished the doors. So I said I didn't, to which he screamed at me, "Then what the f*** are you asking me for? Hang the f***ing doors." I said nothing. I just walked over to the van to take out the tools to start. I got a few doors hanging when I got to a door that wasn't clear whether I put the hinges on the left or right. I was on the second floor of a house and saw FM out through the window, so I asked him. He's far enough away to talk loudly, but not too far away to shout. "Hey FM, which side do I hang this door from?" "Hang it from the top, why don't you?" "Sure thing." I'm not sure why he said that, but he ended up regretting it. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I put the hinges on the top of the door and got it hanging. It looked ordinary until you tried to open it. You had to lift it up and go under it. It was basically the world's largest cat flap. Absolutely hilarious looking. After I stopped laughing at how ridiculous looking it was, I put my tools back in my van to go home. It was the middle of the day. If FM saw me driving away, he'd know I wasn't coming back. And then I phoned the developer, the man who owns the construction site and is paying wages. I told him about FM. He wasn't happy and said he will sort it out. At this point, I was standing outside the house that had the cat flap and FM was walking in my general direction, so I called him over and told him there was an issue with the door upstairs, the cat flap. So he headed upstairs and I got into my van. I could hear him scream, "What the fuck?" from inside my van. He ran outside, started pointing and shouting at me with a big red face. I looked at him, burst into laughter and started to drive home. I met up with one of the other guys on the site a few days later. He said he hasn't seen FM since that day. There is now a new foreman on the site, and apparently this one isn't a complete asshole. I don't know about any of y'all, but I've had the pleasure of working with some of them assholes myself, and they're just so much fun to deal with, especially when you comply maliciously. Just f***ing hang it from the top. Sure thing, no problem. Yes, sir. You want him to ring it up again? This just happened, like 30 minutes ago. Not a big malicious compliance, but still enjoyable for me. I was a witness to the event. There is a cafe across the street that my husband and I get lunch from on Fridays as we both work from home on Friday. It's a husband and wife owned cafe. The husband is a baker and makes amazing cinnamon rolls. The rolls are really the main reason we order from the cafe because they are delicious. When I went to pick up our order, there were two women in the process of paying, so I got in line behind them. The wife rung them up $27.85, and both women immediately started saying that it was too much. There was no way their total could be that much. They were flipping through the menu, quoting prices back to the wife, saying she rang them up wrong. Now, we order from this cafe every Friday, so I know that price is pretty accurate for what they ordered. 2 entrees and 2 pastries. The wife calls over the husband for help. As she's trying to explain what was happening, the two women immediately start talking over her. The two women are telling the husband and wife, the owners, how to ring up the food. The husband literally can't get a word in otherwise to explain the price that the woman is quoting him is not even for the entree she ordered. Finally, the one woman yells over everyone else, suggesting that they just re-ring the entire order as it was obviously wrong. So the husband agrees that it's a great idea and does just that. So he grabs the menu and enters each item into the till in front of them and gets the total $30.03. The one woman who started it all just said, "Oh," and then they immediately shut up, paid, and scurried out. It was quite humorous, and I just stood there stifling a laugh. When it was my turn to pay, the total came up to $32.87, and I instantly remarked, "Oh, that's too much." We had a good laugh about it. For those wondering, I got a strawberry cream cheese roll and a blueberry lemon cream cheese roll. Did I mention they are delicious? God damn it, why did I read that last part? Now I'm hungry for a strawberry cream cheese roll and a blueberry lemon cream cheese roll. Where is this bakery at? Alright everybody, let me know in the comments what you think about these stories. Also, don't forget the Discord server is up. Link is in the description. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace.